All right, well, here we go again. Jeez, it's been another 3 months, so I apologize for that. I'll give you an update here in a second, but first let's pray. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. In Jesus' name, amen. So, first things first, we've had some very big blessings over the last couple of months, a couple of setbacks, but everything's back on track now. So about a month and a half or so ago, I was in a car accident. I'll insert some pictures here when I do the video edit. Just bad circumstances. I was on the way to help Tori with a flat tire. Somebody was making an illegal left-hand turn, came into the passenger side of my vehicle, slid me down off into the ditch. Luckily, no one was hurt. The airbags didn't go off. The vehicle wasn't totaled, but it did set us back a little bit when it came to filming content because, well, that took priority to try to get that vehicle fixed. I actually just got it back today, so it had been in the shop for about 2.5 weeks after the whole paperwork, red tape stuff to figure out who was going to be at fault. But because of a lack of evidence, it turns into a finger point contest. They're blaming us, we're blaming them. No dash cam video, no witnesses to the accident, no nothing. So it's your word versus mine. But luckily we got pretty decent insurance. Our deductible was really low. So we got that vehicle back today. Praise God for that. The other big thing that happened to us is that we were selected by this organization called the Samaritan's Purse, I believe, who was run by Billy Graham's either son or grandson. We were part of a program called Operation Heal Our Patriots, which gave us the opportunity to go to Alaska for a week. All expenses paid through this organization. And what it is, it's a Christian organization that helps the spouse of military veterans. So Lean and I were able to go to Alaska for a week. We were able to draw closer together with each other and, of course, draw closer to God. She was rebaptized. She grew up Catholic, so she was baptized basically right out of the womb because that's how they do it in the Catholicism. So I had been baptized back in April of 2022 when I started this journey with God, but I was rebaptized just again to show my outward profession of my heart and where I am and following God. So one setback, one blessing. We actually went on a family vacation to South Carolina too in the beginning of July, so a couple of weeks. Travel, went back to work, had to get caught up from that stuff, so that took up another week. Then I had the accident, dropped the vehicle off, vehicle no fishing content, so it's been a rough ride over the last month and a half or so. But anyway, that's besides the point. So again, just big shout out to Samaritan's Purse and Operation Heal Our Patriots for blessing my wife and I with that trip to Alaska. If anybody ever has a chance to go to Alaska and see God's creation from that point of view, it truly is still pristine out there. Unbelievable landscape, unbelievable environment, unbelievable people. It's truly is like much entirely untouched by man, and it's incredible. So that's an update on my life. I still have the boat. Nothing happened there. Still got the snowmobiles. If anybody wants to buy them, I'm looking to sell them. I just don't have the time to work on them. I had one that was running all of last season, but I don't have the time to tinker with them and get them running consistently. So I'm going to do away with them. So reached out to me on Instagram or Facebook or something. Anybody's interested in buying 2 snowmobiles and a trailer, whole package, $3K. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and start with this. In the last video, I mentioned that I was a contest winner for Amped Fishing, and he ended up sending the winnings from that. Remember, he had put together a package on his channel. I was the lucky one to be drawn for that winner. So again, shout outs to Amped Fishing and everything that he's doing over there. He's been putting out some pretty good content lately. And fished a couple tournaments, got the W in one of them. Really good guy, down to earth, cool cat. So we'll paw through this quick and see what we won. I'm going to start with these 3 products over here. Fishing is nothing that I really do a lot of. I guess ice fishing, you could probably just vertical jig these. Again, I don't have any electronics, so jigging for fish that I can't see it seems like a waste of time. I'd rather just put a trap in the ice and let the flag go up if anything decides to swim by it. But he did give me some tinsel jigs. These are just a small 1/32 ounce. This color is Ghost Ice Minnow. It's nothing that I throw around. I'm not even sure how I would use these for open water. Just really slow finesse. You know, this on a spinning reel with 6 or 8 pound test, and you try to pick away at the panfish, your bluegill, your sunfish, maybe small pickerel would eat these. Of course, crappie, because that's what they're designed to catch. So, pack of them, 1/32, 3-piece. Pretty color though. These Pecos underspins. Again, these are this is only a 1/8 ounce here, just to downsize your presentation. Really small, you know, spring. Pretty much the only time that I could think to be throwing something like this. Or if the bite gets tough, you can throw these downsized rigs in the same space you would throw a regular swim bait or an underspin. You know, again, round cover, real tight though. You got to be accurate with your cast there too. But cool bait. It looks really neat. Again, it's not a technique that I've ever done. It's designed for a species that I don't target. So forgive my ignorance when it comes to these baits here. But Pecos underspins. The color that we have here is Black Rose, 1/8 ounce Pecos underspins by 6 cents. Really cool bait. We got some curly tail clobbers. I think you're just supposed to maybe use those as a trailer for your tinsel jigs here. Maybe put those on there. But curly tail clobber, crappie. There's a conversation for the comment section. Is it pronounced crappie or crappie? I guess that's a northern versus southern thing. Call them crappie, not crappy. That just sounds weird to me. So crappie. Any other answer is wrong. Divine jig heads. These are just all by themselves. You could put those Divine swim baits on the back of them. Your whales. I think these aren't the Axel swim jigs. These are the solid. That hook is molded right in there. Really cool color on that one too. That's pretty neat. What do they call that? Let me look at the back of the package here. Baby shad on that. It's a pretty cool color. White on the chin there, purple up top. Parallel line ties is really going to be for your swimming techniques. Put a paddle tail back on the back of it there. That through weeds and you know, over rocks, however you want to do it. Keep it vertical though, because this thing starts to lay over, and that exposed hook up top will probably get you hooked. Screw lock keeper on there. I don't know why more companies don't go to that. I don't know if it's any more expensive to put on your baits or not, but that screw lock keeper will keep your bait on your trailer. You know, keep your trailer on that all day long. Something ripping the tail off your trailer back here, screw lock is going to go ahead and keep that locked to the hook all day long, no doubt about it. The Divine swim bait jig head. Oh, fell out of the package. Of course it did, right? Yeah, that screw lock is top notch. It's clearly the best type of bait keeper, and I don't know why people just don't go ahead and use it. I don't know if it's more expensive or what, but Baby Shad, Divine jig heads. Great choice. Thanks again, Ant. Moving on, we got a lot to go through. I also have 3 months of the 6-act to get through too, so we're going to burn through this pretty quick. Got a few swim baits here. Got the Axis 2.0. This one's pretty neat too. It's got a metal lip on the front of it, so you get a different little sound when you're banging it off a cover. It's going to react a lot different too. So instead of this bill having a bit of a flex, you don't get a lot of rebound. It acts different in the water. And it also wobbles from side to side. See that? Wobble, wobble, wobble. And what that does is that as that bait is coming through the water, as this is getting pulled in a different direction, this gives this bait a different sort of hunting action. With a regular crankbait, which is what I'll show you here in a minute, you'll get the wobble in the bait like this, but it'll come straight at you. With this bait here, because that lip on the front of it moves, you get one of these, and then it'll dart off to the side, and you'll get a much wider, more erratic, and the fish bite it. One of my favorite crankbaits to use from the 6. That Axis is a little bit bigger profile. It just moves differently than a regular crankbait, and I love it. Use them all the time. They're great. Duke 65, lipless that we went over in the last video. The best color that 6th Sense produces for a lot of their baits, that 4K shad. I'm not sure if you can see that, so I'm doing my best to kind of in the middle of the frame, let the camera focus and try to see it. I'm not going to take this one out of the package just because we went over it in the last video. Duke 65 lipless crankbait in that 65 millimeter size. Quake 70, that's basically the same thing, just a little bit bigger than that Duke 65. And the Quake's got a little bit different sound to it than that Thud or the Duke or the Swank, not the Swank, the Snatch. They all have their own individual sound, but they're all basically the same bait, flat-sided lipless crankbait. And then that Black Magic color is one of my favorite too. Look at the eye on that. The eyes on that are incredible. Back it up, maybe that'll focus too, can't tell. Swank 77, this one is designed for in or around grass. About the way that it comes through the water column in more of a horizontal presentation, that L-shaped lip on the front of it there. This isn't just a regular crankbait. This has got that L-shaped. And what that does is, because of where the line tie is and the shape of that bill, this bait, when you crank it back towards you, water column more in a horizontal presentation is going to come through just like that. Whereas with a different crankbait, regular one, which I'll show you here in a second, the angle is more like this. Here, because of the design of that lip, it comes through like this, and for some reason it comes through grass like nothing I've ever seen. I know that the fish are in the grass and I need to throw something in there to draw them out without getting snagged and hung up all the time. I'm either going to go with something on a Divine swim bait jig head like this, or I'm going to go with this Swank. Family came in outside, sorry about that. Next up, we got that Crush 50, but this one's in the silent mode. This is arguably the flagship bait for 6th Sense. Sure if this was the one that put them on the map or not, but this size crankbait is probably the most common when it comes to crankbaits on the market. This Crush 50, 1 3/4, maybe 2 1/4 size. You can throw this around everything. It's going to imitate pretty much every base fit that's in any body of water. This one here is in that bone reactor color. I love the red and underneath the gill plate and that purple that's on the nose of this thing. It's awesome. So like I was saying earlier, in comparison to that Axis, it's got a plastic bill on the front of it, pretty standard, just regular plastic bill. So what happens is this has some flex in it and it's got no wobble to it. So when you bring this back through the water, it's going to come at you just like this, and it's going to have wobble to it. But with that Axis, because the bill on the front of it moves, you get more of a dart outside like this. This is just going to wobble back and forth. Great bait, but hush mode, no rattles. So pressured fish, busy lake, something that's over, everybody's throwing a rattler, everybody's got clicks and bangs and cracks. You come in there, same size profile, but quiet, no rattles. Threw in a couple of frogs. These are pretty standard frogs. Nothing special about this is got a pointed nose instead of a proper popping frog. These are what 6th Sense calls their hush frog. Got the color right here, which is pretty cool, pretty standard color frog. I like about this though, it does have that yellow belly. I don't know why, but I think that mimics a dying or fleeing really well, because they got that fluorescent, not really fluorescent, but that brighter yellow on their chin and on their belly. So profile, but you get big bites. I think last year, second biggest fish came frog out of the lily pads. Well, this is an interesting name here. Pickle Breath is the name of this one. This is a neat color. I don't think I've ever seen that, but nothing that I would buy personally. Just not my style, but bright fluorescent or green or yellow. It's depending on whatever you want to call it. Fluorescent yellow, fluorescent green, black strands in the skirt there. But Pickle Breath, neat. Put those back in the box. So this Hondo is a new bait that they released not too long ago. It's very similar to the Flush, which is right here. But the difference is it's got a split tail with paddles on it. So that's going to move and disperse a lot of more water. It's going to give you a little bit of extra vibration that comes through the water. That would actually probably make a great trailer. being in that 4.5 size instead of the Jigsaw minnow, which is what's designed to go on the back of their vibrating jig, this Hondo, the flaps and the split tail would give a lot of secondary action. So you could put that behind a swimming jig without issue. Or vibrating jig. Really cool color too on that. What do they call that? Oh, Simple Green Pumpkin Pro. It's got that pumpkin up top, and they got a purple hue in the belly of it. I know you can't see that on camera. It's because of the lighting isn't the greatest right now, but Green Pumpkin Pro and that Hondo 4.5. Flush 5.2, everybody and their brother has seen these already, but this is in that, call it bubblegum, pretty simple there. They don't get fancy with a name on that one. Livesey, this color on the map a couple years ago at the Bassmaster Classic, throwing that pink on pink vibrating jig with a pink trailer. I don't know if he ended up winning in that or third place or something. I forget. Go back and look at the Bassmaster Classic from a couple years ago. Lee Livesey throwing that pink on pink. Cool. The Hyper Jerk 70. This is just a downsized jerk bait with a little feather in the tail. Throw this bait. I don't know why. Probably should. Because it's something different. I don't hear about a lot of people around here throwing a smaller style jerkbait. You could use this cold water, work it a little faster in the hot water. But the bait that I throw, I have a bunch of them hanging downstairs, but I don't throw it. I don't know why. Just nothing that I have. I don't even want to say I have low confidence in it because it's really zero. I got zero confidence in this bait. I should try it though. Plump Panorama. These are a little thicker than the standard. Oh, I never felt those. Are a little fatter. So the Panorama's got that live action print on the bait itself, which does a really good job. So which you can rig this vertical on an EWG. The EWG has a wide enough gap to where you can rig it this way. You can actually rig it on its side also on a shaky head or a Texas rig, or even just a regular empty jig head. And then as that falls and floats, lightweight EWG, this is actually going to give the spiral of death that's going to swim down. It's going to fall down in that circle. And that's usually when the fish pick it up, because it really does do a very good job at imitating a naturally dying bait fish. As that enters the water and it dies and it does that spin, fish chew it. The Panorama 5.0, the new plump. So that's the giveaway that Amp Fishing put together for me. To him again, I'll tag his channel below. You guys can go over there and check his stuff out too. Really cool guy. So now what I got is 3 months of the 6-sack. I'm going to burn through these pretty quickly because I want this to be another 1-hour video. It is what it is. Feel free to hang out though. You guys doesn't matter. Watch the whole thing. That's the other thing. A lot of people just skip through it and end up only watching 7 minutes of a 55-minute video. So that's not cool. Man, so this would have been from May. So this would have been early season, cold water in May, at least up here. The water temperature is probably still in the 40s, mid 40s, high 40s, ice. Oh yeah, early May. We may still have ice on some of our lakes here in Maine. So this is a cold water bundle for sure. You can see it based on what I got in the sack. Strobe Shaker 3.2, really small bait fish imitator. Again, nothing that I do. Just these small baits, I just don't do them. It's not the way I fish. It's not how I fish. It's not a technique that I want to do. These Panorama 2.0s, I'm not even sure how I would rig those. Maybe on those Pecos underspins or something. These are small. I wouldn't even know how to use them. It's definitely something I would have to do some research in before I even got them wet. So Panorama 2.0, pretty cool looking bait there. Definitely looks like a bait fish. We call that live sunfish. So that's exactly what it looks like. 6th Sense always coming with the great paint schemes and whatnot. This one's called Live Minnow. So anybody that doesn't know what a minnow looks like, this is it right here. It's exactly what the bait fish looks like. No doubt about it. live minnow. Strobe 3.2. Again, I think this is a forward-facing sonar bait. But I don't do it. I don't have it. I think these two were supposed to go together, so I'll show them at the same time. This is their new swim jig. It's a finesse swim jig, so the weed guard is a lot less stiff, and I think it's downsized in weight too. This is only 5/16 of an ounce. This is that Conda swim jig, that new Conda. Super sharp hook, verified, confirmed. Thinner on the skirt material. Again, got that screw lock keeper that's going to keep your bait locked on there all day long. Put one bait on there, and as long as you don't have those silly little bait fish that are down there pulling the tail off your trailer, then that one bait's going to stay on there. Stiff of a weed guard, so you got to be careful bringing that through cover or over cover. You don't want that weight, and then you get hung up. So still got to be careful where you throw it. But great color, chartreuse white. Keep that. Juggle minnow, my favorite trailer for jigs and jigs themselves. And this is actually the color that I probably use the most, this 4K shad swirl. And because the front of this has got quite the head to it, and it's a lot of material to work with, you could actually put this on the back of this Conda. So let's rig one up together here for a second, just so you can see it together. So again, because it's got that screw lock keeper, you don't really have to worry about keeping it too straight. You can straighten it out to get up closer to the keeper. So get that hook to come out about where you want to. Spin that bait up onto the keeper. About like that right there. Right? That's locked and ready to go. Straighten it out. Just the final touches, and that right there is going to get chewed all day long by basically anything that's in your water. Just a little bit of secondary action back there. Conda finesse swim jig. Eat it. Panorama 3.5, so the big brother to the 2.0 that we saw earlier. The 3.5 5-pack. Probably throw those on. Oh, they didn't give you anything to throw them with. Maybe they were thinking that you would put those, the 3.5, on the back of that Conda swim jig. He's got a little bit more of a boot tail to him on the back there. Let's take one out so you guys can see it. Yeah, so these are a 3.5-inch swim bait. Pretty narrow profile to it, but does have that boot style tail on the back of that. I'm not sure if you guys can see that or not, but got some. That feels like a real fish. That's crazy. Really cool color. But maybe they were thinking that you would throw that on the back of the Conda jig there. Panorama 3.5. Juggle Boost is 6.5. Pretty much just a standard rubber worm. Nothing fancy there. Does have the flanged body to it, so it does disperse a little bit more water than just your regular trick worm or stick worm. Flanged body is going to disperse a lot more water in the same size profile of all those flanges. I think it's going to make a little bit of a swoosh sound as you pull it too, so it's going to sound different when you add action to it. Pretty neat. And then I think that's in that same Green Pumpkin Pro, yep, as a bait that we saw earlier. And then they downsided the jerkbait. Again, colder water jerkbaits are pretty much the only time that I throw them. The only jerkbait that I have in my wall right now is the 106, the Provoke 106. I do have that in the X, which is the standard size, and then I do have it in the DD, which adds about another foot. So it can get down there. I think it's like 6 to 8 feet. These ones here are really relatively shallow. Yeah, these only go 3 to 5 feet. So cold water, and that's pretty much the only time that I throw my jerk baits. Yes, April, May, and then later, like November, stuff really starts to freeze. I don't do a lot of fishing in November. At that point, I'm usually winterizing my boat and getting off the water, and then waiting for it to freeze to go ice fishing. So, but really cool color there. Call that live thread fin flash. It's the name of that one there. 6 Sense Provoke 97X. Cool. May. Different sack this time. I think in the last video. I forgot about the little drop shot hooks. So you could do that with those. What were they? The strobe 2.5s and the panoramas. Rig them horizontally on the drop shot hooks that they gave you. That's probably the idea here. But what was I saying? Oh, the last 2 sacks that I had got we had gone over came in the same sack. So different one for the month of May. Just tan sack, black drawstring, 6 cent emblem on the front of it. June. Back to the black sack, the same one that was in those last videos. 6 cents, red and white on the front of it there. June. So now we're getting into the warmer months, right? Temperature starts to come up. It's usually the big bite time for us up here in Maine. Water temperatures start to get into that 60-degree water, start to spawn. It's when the bite really comes alive for us up here. But then the water's pretty slow. You need fishing's pretty slow. Up till then, you really do need to slow down and fish those cold water baits. So, yep, another banger of a sack here. I tell you what, I'll start with this one because it's my favorite one right out of the sack already. So this Pressure Series, you guys have heard me talk about these till I'm blue in the face. These are my favorite crankbait that the 6 Sense offers, in all their sizes: the 4, the 7, the 10, the 12, the 16, all of them. They're the flat-sided Pressure Series is my favorite crankbait that 6 Sense offers. This one here, great color, live bluegill. This time of year, the bluegill have just spawned. They've just, so that smaller profile. Can't say enough good things about the Pressure Series 6 Sense. My favorite. 3/8 of an ounce, dives 2 to 4 feet, live bluegill. And then, yep, something that I wanted to try too. I don't actually own any of these, so I'm glad that I was able to get one in the sack, which is pretty cool. This is that new option. Come in 2 different sizes too. I think they have a 5 and then like I don't know if it's a 7 or a 7 1/4. I think I had a couple of videos ago I had opened one. I believe it was in the 7 ounce. But what's cool about these is that they come with a little harness. I'm not sure if you guys can see that on the bottom there. But what that allows you to do, if you want to, you can move that hook to the top side of the bait. And then it just gives you kind of a different presentation. It allows you to present the bait a little bit differently because then you don't have to worry about the hook getting snagged on bottom. You can put the hook on top and run it and let the bait bounce off of rock piles. You don't have to worry about that hook down bottom getting snagged on anything. So that's pretty cool. That color that right there that they call it the Pro Blue. Maybe you add a black dot to the side of that, and that's going to be a great shad imitator. But up here we have shiners and smelts, which don't have the black dot on it, so that's definitely going to get chewed up here in my water. And hooks, just your standard worm hook, longer shank through the middle from your eye, still an EWG, but probably want to pair those with the bounce worm that they gave you. This bounce worm's pretty neat too. I showed you guys one in the last box. It was a 3.8. This is the big brother to that. This is the 6.7. So again, fat through the body, narrow through the end of the body, and then again bulbous on the tail. So different shape to it. It gives you a different action. That on a shaky and let that bounce. This tail is just going to go ahead and flow in much different action than your standard straight jerk worm. And that color, I was in the package. Nope, June bug red. Missed it. Can't go wrong with June bug though any time of the year. In the summer when the water temperatures get hot, like 70 degrees. I'm not sure if that happens up here anyway. I don't have any electronics on the boat, so I don't know what the water temperature actually is when I'm fishing, but 70-degree water seems silly hot to me. The whale swim bait, keep these ones. These are probably could safely say that these are my second favorite jig trailer. My favorite standalone swim bait. So they got the front pectoral fins there, which helps the bait stay on plane as it's coming through the water. More bulbous through the body, plenty of material there for any sort of hook or rigging method that you want to use. Action through the tail, try to hold that out there, and you can't. I almost had it. Nope. So great action coming through the water. I usually run these in the either the 4-inch or the 4.5 or whatever it is they offer on a keel weighted hook. Throw that out there by itself, swim it back, silent presentation, big thump, nice wobble to it for hunting action through the nose. Unbelievable bait. I love it. They probably give you these to put as your trailer on either one of these jigs. Divine swim jig, all around swimming jig. Don't swim jig a lot. I'd rather throw the hybrid jig that they have, just because I get into situations that are around grass and probably swim a jig through there, or I get piles or something. I don't want to have 97 rods tied up. But if you ask my wife, I have 97 rods tied up anyway. But what this will do is pair nicely on either one of these jigs. So we're gonna rig them both up. So again, because you want the bait, you want these two to pair together this way, right? So the bait runs in the same. So you kind of get that bait, your trailer where it wants to go. You eyeball where the hook point needs to come out, so you have enough material to put over the screw lock. But you do enough of them, and you just kind of feel for it, like this is about where it needs to come out. And again, because it's a screw lock, you don't want the hook to come out the back, but you don't necessarily need to. It doesn't need to be perfect coming through there. It's about where I'd go, and then you just spin that down over the screw lock. Get that tail to come through there. Get that tail to come through. A couple more turns here. That to come through there. One more time, I think. And one more time. And that is how I would rig it. Give it a straighten that out, put that together, and that's ready to fish right there. Unbelievable presentation, that color pairing. It's going to mimic it, pretty much anything you have in any body of water. It's going to be your shad, your threadfin shad, maybe not so much your bluegills or your sunfish, because there's no chartreuse or orange, but that you can just take take some dye, put some orange tail, or just an orange regular Sharpie or paint marker, dollop on the chin there, and there you go. You got yourself a bluegill imitator as well. That's that. I'm not going to pair this one up, but this is that the swimming jig, that swinging axle swing jig that I was talking about earlier that I thought was in there, but that hook is on a dowel that they put through the head there, so it separates that, so that the fish theoretically doesn't have enough leverage to throw the bait out of its mouth when it gets hooked. Really cool design. I usually throw my Texas rigs and stuff before I throw a jig, but I need to throw a jig more because I've heard it's more effective. Creates a different profile. Everybody's throwing a Texas rig. So that's that. That is June's sack, and as predicted, it is geared towards the water to warm up. It's June. I'm sure the water temperature's down in like Mississippi, Florida, Texas. The water temperatures are probably already in the mid 70s come June. Here in Maine, June is about the time school is still in session, and it's barely started summertime up here in June. Still not even swimming weather, really. You want to get technical about it. But here we go. Month of July gets us caught up. So this is the most recent one. Sack hasn't been shipped yet. Those usually ship on the 15th or 16th of the month, so that won't get here until like the 25th or 26th. So this is the current one. Peeked at this one. These two, June and July, I did see Justin Royal. I think he's unboxed since he started his channel, he's unboxed every single one of his 6 sacks on his channel. So he has a whole playlist made up of like or something like that, unboxing videos, just 6 sacks. It's crazy. Cool guy though. Go check his channel out. Month of July, that's kind of a cool bigger sack on this one. Like the size of the sack is is bigger. Cool fish on the front of it. Check that out. I'll leave that there. Pretty cool. Okay, what we got in here? Ooh, that's a big bait. I'll leave that. We'll go in blind. We'll play hide and go seek. That feels like a sticker. 6 cent, established 2008, 6 mark. That's cool. It's a cool sticker. See if I can convince the wife to let me put that on the boat somewhere. Put it on one of the windshields, or maybe on my trolling motor, put it up front there. Cool sticker. Soft plastic. The Shindig 3.2 green pumpkin. Yep, this is just another small profile bait. Who was this for? Smallmouth. Primary target on these. Corey Johnson, I think, was the one that helped design this bait, or designed this bait. Sail, couple of paddles on there, ribbed body. Smaller profile though, so again, for targeting smallmouth, or when the bite gets tough and you just have to downsize your bait. Shindig 3.2, poured in the USA, as is of, if not all, of 6 Cent stuff by now. Still think the Clout isn't poured here, and their crankbaits aren't made here, but for the most part, all of their stuff is made in the USA. The Shindo, this is another semi-new bait that 6 Cents offers. Very similar to the Aussie, I think. So this is a little bit longer profile. The Aussie, I think, is only a 4-inch. This is a 5-inch bait. And I think with the Aussie, there's a ball and the tail is vertical. So Shindo 5.0. Again, I think this is supposed to be a minnow shaken bait for forward-facing sonar. But again, I don't have any electronics, so I would probably just use this as a trailer if I ran out of juggles. Maybe even a downsized like style bait. You could probably just put that on an EWG. It does have pretty decent weight to it, and just that around like a dying bait fish all by itself. Different packaging there. Usually things are in a clamshell, but these have like a lower half and an upper half that just slide together. Still same concept as a clamshell, but those keep your baits aligned, so when you pull them out of the package, their tails aren't all crooked and they're not running weird. And Shindo 5.1. And this is an exclusive color. That's something that I don't think I've mentioned before too. Sometimes in the 6-SAC, 6 Cents will give 6-SAC subscribers exclusive colors before they're released to the public. So this one here, it just says Sindoshad 5.0 in an exclusive color. So right now, out on the market and even on the website, I don't think you can buy this color right here. Pretty cool. What else we got? Still want to save that. Hard bait. They give you the new the Jigsaw. They gave you just a $10. This is a $10 bait all by itself. And then with the other bait that I felt in there, I know that's like a $25 bait. And this is, arguably the best color that they offer. This pumpkin black. You can't beat green. It's universal everywhere, every body of water, all over the country. But this is actually different. I don't know if those, I don't know, and I don't know if I have any downstairs to go look at. But I don't think that is the way that it was. So this is the Axel Jigsaw, which is got that same floating, I don't know if you guys, that same floating hook, but it's on a vibrating jig. So it's on the Jigsaw platform, but it's got the hook that is on the axle. I think that's new, or I could just be mistaken on how they originally designed the Jigsaw originally. I can't imagine that they already redesigned it to put it on the axle, but that's cool. That's really cool. And I'm going to leave that out because I might have to pair that up because 6 Cents is so smart when it comes to their stuff. They probably give you something in here to pair with that. So, oh hey, I'm not a drinker. I drink soda and my water. I drink water all the time. Not too much stuff out of cans. I don't drink a lot of stuff out of cans, but they give you a koozie. Look at that. What else we got here? Oh, yep, favorite trailer right there. The Juggle 4.0 in green pumpkin. So that's absolutely what they put that in there for. To pair for that green pumpkin black axle jigsaw. So these are a little different. You do have to be careful with how you rig them on the axle, because there's not a lot of wiggle room. If you don't get it right, then the bait can bunch up. So what I do is I make sure that there's screw lock on your axle stuff, right? You got that small little post. You want to make sure that when you start that into the bait, that post is in the middle of the bait, not off centered. And you don't want to try to, that's supposed to be centered over the screw anyway. So you want to make sure that small little starting post goes into the middle of your bait. Put that in the middle. Oh, got that hook. And then you spin that on there, just like you do with the screw lock keeper for any of the other jigs. But instead of screwing it all the way to the front, like right up in there, you want to leave a little bit of a gap. And what that allows you to do is that allows you for the bait to move a little bit, and to get the proper distance for when you go to put your hook through your bait. So again, you line that up on the side of it, right? You just kind of where that hook point needs to come through the bait, right? And what I do is I just kind of 90 degree until the bait fills the gap. And that seems to work for me most of the time. Make sure I got this going the right way before I poke the hook through. So I push the bait to the bottom of the hook, right? And then that kind of that 90 degree that I need to come through the bait. So kind of that right there. I push the bait to the hook point's going to come through, and then you want to come straight through the bait, and then that's going to get it down over the edge. That gives me enough material to Texpose. It gives me enough leftover material to Texpose that hook and get that where it's supposed to be. Didn't quite work that time, so I'm going to go back a little further and try that again. Straight through, and that's better. That O'Shaughnessy bend on that hook is a little different, so I had to change it. Again, the lighting in my house is horrible, so we will put that back up in there a little bit, and there you go. The Axle Jigsaw green pumpkin black with that Juggle 4.0 green pumpkin on the back of it. July, water temperatures come up. It's pretty hot at this point. Well, not for us again here in Maine. Our water temperatures get into the mid 70s in July. I've seen some of the footage from people online that the water temperatures are in the mid 80s and 90s. So that's crazy to me. I don't think we get that here in Maine ever anywhere. And then, oh, not what I thought it was, but still, this is a pretty cool bait too. This is the Judo. This is a chop style bait. So similar to your draw, your small draw, or your flow gliders. I think they offer that, like the 100 or the 130, similar style there. But this is, they call it the Judo because it's supposed to chop, Judo chop, right? Clever, but kind of cheesy. I get it. Dad joke. Don't have any of these. It's the only one I own. Not a technique that I do. I'll throw the bigger draw and slow that down. A bigger profile. This Judo, smaller. I think you're supposed to use it a lot quicker. This is on that new pump style frame. You got the pump 125 or your grass pump. Longer, more narrow body through the tail there. not wire, but plastic tail on there. Supposed to give it a different sound, a little bit less material, so it's quicker to chop, changes directions a lot easier. Different wire tie on there. I feel like most of the line ties run this way. This is turned this way, which I feel like is a little different. That probably allows it to get pulled more sharply and change directions there. Cool color. What do they call that? Oh, Ghost 4K shad. So again, another killer color in the sack that is going to go ahead and catch fish. Doesn't matter where you live in the country. So, this is the sinking version. So I'm sure they have either floating and sinking. Sometimes they have a slow sink, fast sink, but this seems to be sinking. So I would guess it's just a floating or sinking option on these. I don't know for sure though. Put that back, and that is going to do it. Leave your comments down in the comments about your favorite bait. Give me some more ideas going forward about what you guys want to see. And yes, just God bless. Everybody in mind, say your prayers. And we'll see you on the next one.